You think they're limited in their abilities. They're not. They shine and they're intelligent and they're brilliant and they're eager to learn and they're downright friendly and ready to be employed, bottom line.
I'm Dalia Colon, and this is The Zest: citrus, seafood, Spanish flavor, and Southern charm. The Zest celebrates cuisine and community in the Sunshine State. Today, how a little cup of coffee can do a whole lot of good. It seems like there's a coffee shop on every block, sometimes more than one, and they all offer pretty much the same stuff. But one coffee company in Tampa is serving up much more than lattes and muffins. Coffee Uniting People, or CUP for short, is an inclusive, nonprofit coffeehouse that employs people with differing abilities. With 3 locations in Tampa, CUP teaches valuable life skills to folks who are too often overlooked for employment. I chatted with CUP barista Katie Huettel, along with CUP co-founders Greg and Laura Jones. In this conversation, the Joneses share why they started CUP, and they offer advice for business owners looking to hire and support employees with differing abilities. Then Katie explains how the skills she's learning at CUP translate to the rest of her life. Greg Jones speaks first.
CUP is an acronym for Coffee Uniting People, and it's a nonprofit that my wife and I started in 2021 here in Tampa. And it's kind of an evolution of a long process. We were involved in a Little League baseball program involving baseball for boys and girls with disabilities back around 2015. And from that, we kind of kept our fingers in the disability community to a certain extent. And I went back and got some education at the University of Florida at 60, got a master's and a nonprofit leadership certificate. And one day we came up with this idea that as opposed to venturing off and going into a nonprofit leadership role myself with another nonprofit after I retired from the practice of law, we came up with this idea and we started CUP in October of 2021. And here we are about 2+ years later.
That's so cool. And now you have 2 locations in Tampa, correct?
We do. We have 2 locations. We have one in South Tampa and we have one in downtown Tampa. And we just announced today on social media our 3rd location, which is a partnership with Baycare Health Systems, otherwise known as St. Joseph's Hospital. And we're going to open up our 3rd location this month at St. Joseph's Hospital North. And we're super excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, we're recording this in July of 2024, so who knows, by the time someone's hearing this, it may be off the ground. Laura, does your family have any connection to the disability community? I mean, it seems like a hard enough task to start any business, let alone employing people who have different challenges. So why are you and Greg passionate about this?
Just experiencing during Little League, no, we have 5 children. They're all employed and adults now. So it gave us time to really find our own passion as a couple of what we wanted to better the community.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, Katie, I got to get you in here. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself. How old are you? What were you doing when you learned about CUP? And what's it like working there?
What was I doing? There was a lot of things I was doing. So I actually had a full-time job that I did not have anymore. And so I was doing a lot of like side gigs and like other paying hobbies that I have and stuff to like supplement me. And I was, I think, doing shows because I do theater acting professionally. So I was doing like a theater show and voice acting. And then I was like, well, I would definitely like another job because I like being busy and I think that'd be good. And then I learned about CUP from Emily Ramos. I think my mom told me, and she also told me. And so then I wanted to look into it a little bit more because it sounded like a really good place to work and stuff. And then I applied really at the very beginning of when CUP was starting to start and stuff. And then I got in and then I'm still working there today. So, and it's nice. It's been really good.
Oh, that's great. Okay, if you don't mind my asking how old you are, only because it seems like this is a great opportunity for young adults who are learning to be more independent. And so I want to know how being a barista at CUP has helped you become more independent.
Well, I really like it. Well, I'm 26. I don't look or sound 26, but that's why I play a lot of kids and like voice acting and theater and stuff. But like, I have learned a lot of like hands-on skills and like a lot of like organization skills at Cup, but in an environment that where I'm understood and all of us are understood. Yeah, I mean, I'm open about sharing this. I have like moderate to severe ADHD and like Tourette syndrome. So it's like disabilities that aren't always like seen physically. So it's easy for people to be like, oh, well, you're fine. But then people will see like, oh, you're having trouble. Why are you having trouble? And I'm like, I told you. But the nice thing about Cup is I'll work there. I'll have a little trouble maybe organizing lots of orders that are coming in. And then and I'll be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll kind of freeze up a little bit. And then like whoever is the shift lead that day will be like, okay, well, let's take it one step at a time. And then like I'll be walked through it instead of being expected to just know it. And so if any of us are having trouble at Cup, like people are 100% there to help.
That's so cool. And how does that translate into the rest of your life? Because I think a lot of us are disorganized and, have trouble like wrapping our head around certain tasks. So do you see a translation between what you do at Cup and then the rest of your life?
Yeah, they're really good transferable skills because organization is something that it's good for everybody to know. Time management is something that's really good for everybody to know. Talking to people, like people skills are also really good. And that's really like name a job and you're going to have to talk to people. Name a job, you're going to have to know how to organize and time manage, But the thing is, though, it's in such an environment where, I mean, honestly, everybody deserves this. It's an environment where it's understood and people are so patient. I mean, disability or no, everybody needs that. Because when you're new and you're in an environment, let's say you're thrown to the wolves and you're in an environment where you're like, oh, well, you just need to know this, but you were not given any tips and any like help. No, it's not very easy. But then when you are in an environment where you're starting off and people understand there's a system to help you, then that's really, really good. And like I said, everybody deserves that.
Laura, why do you think coffee is a good vehicle for teaching these skills? I mean, you guys could have opened like a pet salon or an auto parts shop or a grocery store, but what is it about coffee?
Well, everybody drinks coffee, and if they don't, we've got teas. Everybody likes tea or it's some kind of beverage. It's just a great environment to bring people together and people socialize over coffee, and really it brings people together.
I just want to brag on Katie for a second because she is a great person and a great barista. And not only that, she's a tremendous actress, as you might already know, in which she has indicated. And she is an incredible singer. She has got a voice that is phenomenal. You might know that from your church, but we actually had a fundraising event last year, and she kicked things off with singing a song to 250 people and just brought the house down. It was tremendous. So she's got these great talents that she's very humble about, not maybe highlighting, if you will. But we're really happy to have Katie and the rest of our baristas. We've got a tremendous staff of employees. We've got 45 employees, and I believe about 38 of them have some form or type of a disability. And at least that many, I think we have another 55 on the wait list who have applied to come work for us that unfortunately we just don't have the actual shops right now to employ these people, those folks on the wait list, but we're going to tackle that by opening more shops and coffee shops and start roasting our own coffee and becoming a special needs coffee roaster also.
Ooh, I love that. And I do want to ask you about the wait list. Laura, without obviously naming names, can you tell me about the nature of some of the challenges that the employees face and how do you overcome some of that in the hiring process?
Well, they all have different challenges. For instance, we have a barista that has cerebral palsy. She just works a half an hour at a shift, and we meet her needs. She's got 2 aides with her, and she's gone from greeting now to the POS, which is the cash register. And now we have her making drinks. So you think they're limited in their abilities. They're not. They shine and they're intelligent and they're brilliant. and they're eager to learn, and they're downright friendly and ready to really be employed, bottom line.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want to buy a cup of coffee from Katie Huettel? She's just like walking sunshine. And she also crochets, by the way, and probably has other talents that I don't even know about. And I will say, if I can brag on you for a second, long ago when I worked at the Tampa Bay Times, I got to sit back to back with your late father, Steve Huettel, and he had a picture of you on his desk, and he was always bragging about you. And so I'm so glad it's like, in another lifetime that now we've gotten to know each other a little bit. And I know he would be so proud of you. Katie, you talked about how patient the other staff members are. How has the community responded when people come in? I mean, when people come into a coffee shop, a lot of times they're in a hurry. They need that caffeine for the day. But how has the community responded to you and some of the other employees?
Really good. I want to go back to what you were saying earlier. I'm glad you mentioned my dad, because I was going to mention, like, dad was bragging about you too. He was like, oh yeah, Dalia Cologne is an amazing woman, Katie. She's really successful. And I have never forgotten you since then. And I'm really glad I get to work with you a little bit now. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, Katie, you're going to make me cry. This is like such a full circle moment. Yeah, but it's so funny because I was doing like entertainment and features reporting. And your dad we sat back to back, and he was doing like serious business reporting. And I imagine someone like a serious business guy coming into the cup, getting his cup of coffee as he goes off to his job. So how have the community members responded? What kind of patience do they have when they come into the shop?
Everybody who comes in, for the most part, are so nice. They understand the mission. Whenever I work, I'm actually working Saturday, I always tell them like the mission, because I want them to know. Because like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, obviously there's going to be some people who are like, okay, give me my coffee, bye. That's okay. I do remember there was a day where there was a bit of a group of people who were kind of like that, where they're like, okay, give me cappuccino with this and this and this. And I'm like, and so I got very overwhelmed with all of the information that was thrown at me. And so I was getting confused. And so I had to ask her again and stuff. But I mean, they weren't being rude necessarily. They were just kind of like expecting that we were all neurotypical, and we were not. So I guess that can sometimes happen, but that very rarely happens, and everybody's just really, really understanding, like a lot of people are.
That's awesome. Okay, Greg, you mentioned that there is a wait list, because I know there are people listening right now who think, I want to work at Cup, or my child or my sibling would be a good fit for Cup. And I know you're expanding, but it's like, this is probably bigger than, the two of you. So what advice would you offer to other business owners who are considering hiring people with special challenges, but maybe they don't know where to start, or they feel like they wouldn't be able to give them the support that they need?
Look, our mission is to provide jobs, for folks with disabilities. I would encourage all employers to give this overlooked segment of our population a chance, because it's a win-win for everybody. It provides a purpose. It provides jobs for these folks that have disabilities, otherwise would not be able to work, because the statistics show about 80% of folks with disabilities are unemployed, but not unemployable. And they do a great job if you give them a chance. Some of our employees, I had a gentleman came in, Laura mentioned one of our employees working the POS. I had a dad come in the other day and was telling me, he was looking at his son, and he said, if you would have told me 2 months ago that our son would be able to work that point of sale machine, we would have believed you. And so just by giving them an opportunity, and quite frankly, their love and their goodwill nature is infectious to our other employees, and so to other businesses' employees and to their customers. There's just no downside to it. And I'm hopeful that what we're doing, other employees will listen to this and see what we've been doing and say, you know what, I'm going to reach out and see if we can expand our employee base and give somebody a chance that didn't otherwise have a chance.
Oh, I love that. Okay, before we wrap up, I do have to ask you all about the menu. So I want to know from each one of you, what is your go-to order, a beverage and a food? And Katie, I'm going to start with you.
I love food, so perfect. So my go-to like coffee is a mocha latte. And I always put extra chocolate in it because that's me. And then food items, I'm like a sucker for breakfast food. So I always get like the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. I really like, and then of course, like, pastries are nice too. And then I think refresher wise, oh goodness, it's been a while since I've made it. I think it was like lavender lemonade. And it was lemonade with pineapple juice, lavender, and that's really good. That was really tasty. So I like that one.
That sounds amazing. And the refreshers are great for people like my 12-year-old who don't drink coffee, but they want to have something to put on Instagram and they want to drink.
Yeah.
Laura's nodding. Laura, what would be your go-to order?
Oh, they know it the minute I walk in. I get a matcha latte with coconut milk. I get sugar-free vanilla. And I sometimes when I'm feeling crazy, I put a shot of espresso in it, which I didn't even know before that you could do. But the employees taught me that you can put, some coffee in your tea. We've got an amazing Cuban sandwich that we press ourselves, and it's delicious. It's a perfect size, and you can't beat anything. But we do have ice cream, which I have a little sweet tooth, so that is always refreshing.
That sounds
I like the ice cream too.
Okay, well, I'll definitely have to stop in and try that. And you can put coffee in your tea. I feel like there's a bigger life lesson there. But to finish off, Greg, what do you get when you go to Cup?
Okay, that's an easy question. Iced latte, 2% milk. That's my standard go-to drink. I walk in, they know it already. And I love a warmed up banana nut bread. We've got great banana nut bread, which is really good. They warm that, and we have a toaster that does it. And I just want to throw another plug. In addition to ice cream, we also sell Mike's Pies. So you can come in at any point in time and get a slice of pie, or you get ice cream. And hopefully we'll be selling a lot of those over the holidays. But you can't beat that banana nut bread. It's the best.
Oh, each one of your orders sounds amazing. So to wrap up here, what is next? Where do you see Cup going? I know you mentioned expanding. And then Katie, I want to know what your future plans are as well. So we'll start with Greg and Laura. What do you think the future of Cup looks like?
I always like to say we hope to have a Cup on every corner. We want to become the special needs, a Starbucks of special needs coffee shops, and expand throughout the country. That's my goal. But at the end of the day, we might have just a couple of shops here in Tampa. But I think the future is bright. We've got inquiries from literally all over the country. Can we put a Cup in Houston and Dallas and New York and Los Angeles and Orlando? So we're hoping to expand, and by partnering with Bake here in St. Joe, this is our first step. So we're really excited.
That's awesome. Katie, where do you see yourself down the road? I know I'm going to say Broadway, but what do you think?
Well, I hope to juggle all of the jobs, because at the moment, I mean, I'm using theater terms when I say this. I'm a swing at the moment at Cup, which basically means I'm a step-in, and I like being able to take over somebody's shift if they go on vacation or if they get sick and stuff. And that is working really, really well with my schedule, because I do like acting professionally. I am kind of all over the place a lot, but Cup has been really flexible, and I've been willing to be flexible too. And so I really ideally, I really would like my career to be really busy, I guess is the word, because I like having, I don't like being bored. So and I like being productive. And so I really want to make sure that I'm I don't know, I work at Cup while I do other things. That's sort of my goal. And I'm never bored. I'm always busy.
I'm the same way. You and I are kindred spirits. I have several jobs too, and it's all fun. Well, I want to thank the three of you for your time, because I know you are all so busy, and I'm glad we were able to make this happen. Is there anything else that anyone wanted to mention?
Katie, you especially, I think everybody at Cup is a family member, and I feel we all think of it that way. We're one big happy family.
I just want to add, we've got really good coffee too, by the way. Our coffee vendor is Brisk Coffee, and so not only is the experience great, but the coffee is tremendous.
Yep, Coffee's got to be great. And I mean, you've got wonderful customer service with people like Katie, and then the great coffee and great food. So it's just tremendous. Thank you so much for what you're doing for our community, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Dalia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please come by Cup. I want to make you a really good cup of coffee.
I would be honored. That was Coffee Uniting People barista Katie Huettel alongside Cup co-founders Greg and Laura Jones. You can learn more about Cup and check out the menu at coffeeunitingpeople.org. I'm Dalia Colon. I produce The Zest with Andrew Lucas and Alexandria Ebron. The Zest is a production of WUSF, copyright 2024, part of the NPR network.